Let's get right into our first topic, though. Let's talk about John Cena. He'll be the last champion. There was a lot of similarities to last week, but I do appreciate the consistency in the heel work. So I hear a little bit where Fernando's coming from on that comment, but at the end of the day, I get it. He said one thing that's really important, and you can see it in quotes over there on the delightful graphic the great Ben Allison produced for us. John Cena, I'll be the last champion. I loved that. He tickled all the Ric Flair fans that are left out there. He messed with all the records. He joked with all this stuff. I dug this from top to bottom. Once again, Jordy, as I said resident Disney expert, but truthfully, there may not be a leader of the C Nation without Jordy in the bank. Talk to me about this one, Jordy.
I thought it was brilliant. And again, like you just said, he's leaning into this heel stuff and he's so good at it. These promos, I don't think they're off the cuff. I think he's written these. I think he might have written these a long time ago. And stuff like just the way he's catching them out, the way he's catching like by saying stuff and then saying, "Oh, when I speak rhythmically, you say what?" And then there was almost like a lull of silence where you're like, "Oh, look, he goes." And it was great. I'm just at a point now where I need to hear him talk to Cody. I need to hear him say something to Cody or do something to Cody, because it's all well and good in cooking the crowd. Like, it's great, it's fantastic, and he's doing a stellar job of it. But I still need to know why, and I need to know if there's something personal in this, if he's got something against Cody, or if it's just you're in the way and I need to win 17. And unfortunately, you're the champion right now, which means I'm gonna have to beat you. Like, I don't know if it's that or if it's like, no, you should never have been champion. You wouldn't have been champion if it wasn't for me. Seeing how the crowd have unanimously cheered you over the past 2 years when half of them always booed me. Like, whether it's that, whether it's a resentment that's built up, I want to know. And I really hope, I said this last week, and fair play to Fernando Zayas, and it was a kind of a little bit the same. Yes, the words were different, but the kind of bulk of what was happening was the same. He was going to come out, cook the crowd. Cody was going to come out, call him out, and then he walks away. It's that kind of same recipe. So I can understand the frustration, and that's why next week I really need in London for him to turn and actually talk to Cody, for Cody not to let him walk away, and for them to actually have a bit of discourse and tell us why, apart from obviously this chase for the title.
I totally hear where you're coming from on the tell us why, and all of that. And even to address the idea of why he aligned with The Rock. How's The Rock and how's Travis Scott involved in all of this? But I had kind of a revelation last night, and I thought about it, and I was like, well, wait, he already told us he's not going to tell us. He's taken his ball and gone home every time. And he doesn't need to right away. We will find out in some regard. What I don't want it to be is finally he just gives us what we want, which is the answer and the reason. I want it to sort of be forced out of him in a way, and I think that is a role that Cody needs to play. Cody needs to force this information out of Cena, Rock, Travis Scott, whoever it is of the three. But John Cena is not giving us what we want. And last night, and I'm not trying to disagree with you at all, Jordy, because I am as curious as anybody, but the suspense is killing me, right? Don't take it away just yet, would be my thing, right? Like, don't like, it makes your skin crawl. Like, you want to know what is the deal.
I think it's because there's other sections and other segments within the show, like, for example, CM Punk coming out without Seth and Roman, and it's like, tell us more. And it's like, I feel like we're not moving forward because I've not heard Cena talk to Cody yet. I've not heard these three. I've not seen him sign a contract. Like, so I think it was just probably a build up, and like,
that is an
looking back like that
outstanding point, because I think Cena should be the only storyline where that applies.
Yeah,
the mystery, the way that it is. The Punk one was a really solid promo, but it didn't move things as forward as you would hope. Cena needs to stay established as a heel, because if he starts making people like too many things, it'll be the big wave of support.
Yeah.
And that is the dangerous game they're playing right here. Archie, I've got to ask you, what were your thoughts on the promo last night, especially in relation to the original? Did you feel like they were too similar? And then especially that last champion statement, the 17 time, the way he really dug deep into that. What are your thoughts on the potential record-breaking moment we could see here at this year's WrestleMania?
So I thought last night's segment was I thought it was very good. It wasn't exceptional like last week's. I do understand where people are coming from, where it might have been quite similar. But I do agree with you, Clark, that him kind of delaying giving us what we want is what's in his character. So it makes sense. I think the segment more so just gave us more context behind his heel turn. He brought up the spinner belt, and now we've got a proper, because we know why Cena turned heel. Now his character for the farewell tour has got a goal. He's got a goal and he's got an aim in mind, and that's to ruin wrestling and retire with one of the most prized possessions in professional wrestling, in the WWE Championship. And I love how that it's actually kind of, they flipped the script a bit, because obviously everyone knows, or every wrestling fan knows, Punk and Cena in that infamous Money in the Bank match. Cena was the one that was trying to stop the kind of delusional CM Punk walk out of Chicago with the WWE Championship on his last night in WWE. So it's pretty cool that now he's become everything that he used to fight against. And it made me start thinking that maybe CM Punk is the best opponent for Cena, the best last opponent for him, because if they do the Cena's last match in Boston like it's rumored, then Cena versus Punk for the WWE Championship, and kind of reversing those roles in that now Punk's being the one to try and stop Cena from ruining wrestling or from walking out of the company with their prized possession. I think that's a really interesting kind of dynamic, and I think I am interested in that he hasn't interacted with Cody yet, but I agree with you, Clark, and I like that he's delaying that, and I hope Cody goes on a rampage to kind of try and get answers out of him. He beats people up backstage, and he's saying, where's Cena? We want answers now. Like he's been patient enough.
Yeah.
So I want to see Cody kind of force answers out of him instead of Cena voluntarily giving them to the fans, because that makes more sense to his character.
I love that, Archie. And you brought up a really great point about the idea of the kind of pseudo role reversal. What we saw with Punk and Cena. Ooh, is that enticing? Another thing that I think that they can really play on with this inside of that level of the storyline is a huge boxing and MMA guy. And if you're unfamiliar, there's a thing called the lineal champion. And so that is like, if you're the undisputed champion and say you retire, which is possible, it's happened, or, due to injuries, you can no longer compete, or like you're out for such an extended period of time, you can't defend the title. You're what's considered the lineal champion. I would love for John Cena to lean into, I will forever be the lineal WWE champion. There will always be a question mark hanging over this belt. If he starts saying things like that, just pulls on your heartstrings, like, because then there's a question mark hanging over the title itself.
Yeah.
For eternity.
I actually think, and it might be a hot take, Cena retiring with the title is incredibly interesting in that it kind of changed the whole landscape of WWE, and you can play off that. And I know a lot of people have been complaining that there's two world titles and they think there should just be one. You could always kind of have Cena retire with the WWE Championship, and then you use the World Heavyweight Championship as the main one. But yeah, I thought it was a great segment.
100%. And I think the other thing about this is, truthfully, so say I have the pencil, I get to book it, right?
Mhm.
I think he does win the 17th title, is threatening to walk away with it, goes the lineal, I'm the lineal champion forever route, and then someone hits a buzzer beater. And he goes out on his back like an old school pro wrestler would.
Yeah.
And puts over the next guy, whoever that may be. Could be Cody again in a rematch or something like that. But that moment is explosive, right? Oh no, it's not gonna. Right. It doesn't end that way.
I think his kind of old rivals like Randy Orton, AJ Styles, trying to take that moniker, or that kind of title away from him is really intriguing as well. So I think they can tap into lots of potential layers for sure.
Absolutely. We've got an interesting comment here from Lord Virus of Nurgle. He said, according to Flair, it's 21 world titles, so 17 wouldn't break the run. Here's the thing for me. We're going to go off the WWE record books. I don't care about the 21 thing. Like, that's just silly. And at the end of the day, it kind of ruins the storyline if you're like, well, Ric Flair, who's not involved in the business or anything other than just being a record holder. That's like Barry Bonds being like, did you count all my home runs? Right, it's
also like Flair actually said well done to Cena when he tied the record. So it's not as though he kind of flip flops between what record.
And then we've got a bunch of more comments here that I want to see. Hang on. We've got the dope matches with old rivals from Chuck Cage. I agree. He says Fernando Zayas says Punk Cena at Money in the Bank. Yeah, love that.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Don't have them have a rematch until December PLE in Boston, which should be Starrcade. That would be
interesting. Yeah.
And then DCX Warlord with his final opponent should be Carmelo Hayes in Boston. Okay.
Maybe.
I hear that. How do you feel Cody's title run has been? Honestly, we got to get to the next segment, my friend. We can't. That could take the rest of the show.